Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Live Well Kingston Commission. I'm putting in the chat box the link to our agenda tonight. It is January 19th at 4:05 p.m. And I welcome you all here to this space tonight. We're going to jump in. We've got a good agenda here. And first, let's do a round of introductions so we all know who's here, and because we have some new faces. I'll kick us off. I'm Emily Flynn. I'm the Director of Health and Wellness for the City of Kingston. That means a big part of my job is coordinating this commission, the Live Well Kingston Health Commission. But my job is also expanding. I'm now also working in partnership with Kristen, who will introduce herself next, about the Creating Healthy Schools and Communities grant project. But what else should I say? My pronouns are she, her. I'm happy to have you all. I'm going to pass to Kristen. Kristen, if you don't mind, pass to the next person and we'll make our way around the room.
Of course. Hi, my name is Kristen. My pronouns are she, her. I, as Emily mentioned, am the new project manager specifically for a program here at the City of Kingston called Creating Healthy Schools and Communities. And that's a program that is a 5-year grant-long program where we are helping to make Kingston a healthier place through policy, systems, and environmental changes. So not necessarily through nutrition education, but through utilizing resources to create these PSCs, as we call them, to encourage healthier behaviors. So it's something that I'm really excited about because I spent a long time in nutrition education, and I got to a point where I was like, nutrition education doesn't mean anything if people don't have access. If we don't have, senior leadership buy into creating policies, into creating systems, into changing environments that is supportive of a healthy lifestyle. So it's super cool. And as a part of that, we'll be working tangentially with the Live Well Kingston Commission and hopefully some of the focus groups in the future. I will say I have to jump off today at 5, so I'm just going to let everybody know that. I teach yoga at the Ymca in town at 5:30. So putting out a little plug for myself. If anybody wants to come do some yoga, my classes are really fun and not really that serious. It's usually me and a bunch of women and men, I would say, in their 50s to 70s. So if you're like, oh man, this is probably like power yoga or something, like, no, my class is really fun. Anyways, I did not plan on saying that, but I just felt like I had to tell you I was leaving at 5. I'll pass it along next to Marcia.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcia Sebro. I am a nutrition educator for the Cornell Cooperative Extension here in Ulster County. I'm a part of the Healthy Communities team that is led by Melinda Herzog, who you all know. Thank you for inviting me. It's nice to meet you all. And I will pass it to Sarah.
Hi, everyone. I'm new. I am from the community, Kingston community perspective, the chair of the Kingston Land Trust and Kingston Green Line lover, and a volunteer coordinator on that side. And that's how I work with Emily and other things. From the business side of my life, my day job, the thing that pays my bills, I am a director of client relations for a hospital finance software company. So I work a lot in the healthcare sector that way, from the financial billing and financial counseling side, and understanding the struggles and understanding a lot of the laws and legal things that happen, not only in New York, but across the country. So I always have the paper open and reading what's going on with legislation. So I hope I bring some of that knowledge to the table.
And Sarah, do you mind passing it?
I'm going to pass it to Katrina.
Hi, everybody. I imagine we're just doing introductions and then passing. I'm Katrina Williams. I am a clinical social worker and an addictions counselor, and I work at the Ulster County Department of Mental Health in the LGU, which is the local government unit. So it's a pretty administrative function. We oversee all of our state and county contracts and really are charged with the responsibility of making sure that our residents have access to the services and the care that they need as it relates to mental health, substance use disorder treatment, and intellectual and developmental disabilities. Through that work, I get to do a lot of fun stuff. I lead a project called Integrated Ulster, which is a system of care initiative that's really about ensuring that our system of care is able to meet the complex needs of the residents that we have here. So really about enhancing what we do and working together to make sure that we can, adequately meet the needs, whatever it is that comes through our door. I think that's about it. I'm not sure who's already gone because I ran to the ladies' room really quickly. May I pick on Barb, or did she already go?
Hey, hi, Katrina. Can't get away from you, or the opposite. You can't get away from me. I am the newly elected alderwoman to Ward 1 in Kingston, and this is one of my advisory committees I've been assigned to. So I asked to be because I knew Emily from previous meetings, and look at this lineup. OMG. Really great. I think I scored. So I do consulting work in healthcare and mental health care. I'm a social worker, public administration degrees. I worked in community health centers for many years. That's how I know Susanna. And working now with family services to do an innovative clinic over in Poughkeepsie, be mental health, substance use, full-scale pharmacy, care management, and let's see, probably nails and no, just kidding. We're gonna do, everything in one location, so I'm really excited about that. Anyhow, good to see you all. Hi, Marcia.
How about Malia? Malia, you haven't gone yet, have you?
I have not. Thank you, Emily. Hi, everyone. My name is Malia. I'm a resident of Kingston, but I am on the other side of the river right now. I work at Bard College, where I'm a senior administrator. I don't have a background in healthcare or social work administration, but I'm a concerned and interested resident and just want to support living well in our community. I will pass it to Troy Ellen.
Can I just say one more thing? Sorry, I'm the Barbara Hill. I'm the new chair of the Ulster County Community Services Board, which is the mental health, substance use, OPWDD populations, and we work hand in glove with the Department of Mental Health.
They're doing construction below me, so you may hear hammering. I'm Troy Ellen Dixon. My pronouns are she, her, aya. I'm retired, but I'm also currently the chair of the Live Well Kingston Commission. I'm also involved with one of the focus groups, focus teams, whatever they're called, Grow Well. I'm also have been involved since March 2020 in the Kingston Emergency Food Collaborative. The joke that I use now is that, in March of 2022, we'll be entering our junior year of COVID. And I suspect COVID is going to get a master's degree, a PhD, and a postdoc, the way things are going. But in any event, I'm involved in a lot of other spaces in Kingston. Rise Up Kingston, I'm a member. Citizens for Local Power, I am a board member, and I'm also consulting with Radio Kingston on building their underwriting program, which will fuel the community fund to assist individuals in immediate need of financial help. So that's my story, and I'll hand it off to Heidi.
Hi, everyone. That was great, Troy Ellen. Hello, welcome. Good afternoon. My name's Heidi Kirschner. I am CEO and president of the YMCA. My pronouns are she, her, aya. I'm involved with trying to work with folks throughout our community, families from very young to old, with regard to, being healthy, being well on all different levels. So I enjoy that work. My background was not that. I always have enjoyed being active, but, this takes on a whole new meaning of, health and wellness. So it's, it challenges me at times, but I have a great support system, and I like working and doing this kind of work. I'm involved with a variety of different groups. I'm part of the Playwell Kingston group that has not been very active these last couple of years. Several attempts to, reinvigorate it, but haven't been quite successful yet. So that would be great if that could get going again. And then do some other works with the, the Safety Commission here in Kingston as well. And that also is really good work. And I could not be on the commission, but really quite proud of the work that they're doing at this time. So thanks. Who didn't go? Raise your hand. Okay, Susanna, you're next.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's a lovely sunny evening. I am Susanna Callahan, and I'm the Vice President for Planning and Community Engagement for the Institute for Family Health. And as I think you all know, we're a federally qualified health center with lots of health centers in New York City, and 5 or 6, depending how you count them, full-time or part-time in Ulster County, including the Kingston Family Health Center, the OBGYN Center, and hopefully by the end of 2022, the Pine Street Family Health Center, which is under construction. I know it's moving along. There were some very interesting delays, which I thought was a secret, but I guess it's no longer a secret. So maybe when we're not recording, I can tell you all what happened there. So really crazy. But yes, it's under construction. I've been with the Institute for a very long time, 25 years, very long time, in different iterations of the organization and myself. So I do a lot of different things for the organization, but I guess Pine Street's a really big thing right now for us. COVID, everything COVID. I agree with you, Troy Ellen. It is true. We are going to have many degrees by the time this is over, and everything seems to be sort of, slowly. Everything's always like we sort of get up and running in some new project and then get sidelined because of yet another booster, or health centers are actually being selected. You might have read about it in the newspaper for therapeutics. We're starting therapeutics at one of our sites, for getting testing kits, for getting N95s, where they were constantly getting, requests if we want to participate in something new. So there's lots of stuff happening there. I live across the river in Dutchess County. I volunteer a lot in immigrant-related issues and groups. I speak Spanish fluently, and I'm very interested in helping or working with immigrant groups. And one of the things I do is help first-generation college kids get into college. So part of a group that I helped to found a couple of years ago. So, and then an ESL, I should go from here to an ESL meeting after this. So yeah, or I tutor. And I guess the last person is Siobhan.
Hey everyone, my name's Siobhan. I'm the Outreach and Membership Coordinator for the Kingston Food Co-op. We're a community-owned grocery store opening up, not yet, on Midtown Broadway. Right now we're working on getting feedback from our community for our building design. We're in like the pre-design phase, and so we're trying to collect information about what would make the most welcoming and intended shopping experience for our community, so that everybody feels welcome and feels empowered in that space. And yeah, don't want to give my whole life story, but happy to see all of you guys, and I'll pass it back to Emily. And I'm also gonna drop the link for the feedback in the chat. We want to hear from anybody that lives, works, or shops in Kingston. So I'm sure that's probably most of you guys. And we're raffling off some gift cards to some awesome businesses in Midtown and in Kingston to people that are participating. So definitely a nice little incentive to share your feedback, and giving it back to you, Emily.
Thank you, everyone. Give a wave if you haven't had a chance to introduce yourself. I think we got everybody, but I always want to give a chance because it's not, I have forgotten people in the past. I always want to give that opportunity. All right, up next is the December meeting notes. We have a quorum. We have more than half of the commissioners here tonight. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve December's meeting notes, or I can hear edits now?
So
Do we have a
moved.
quorum?
What's that, Troy?
We have a quorum, even though I don't think Siobhan was you weren't at the December meeting, correct, Siobhan?
I don't think so.
Okay,
So I'll add Siobhan to abstentions, but yeah, no, we still have 5 because we have Katrina and Sarah now.
So I'll make that
Um,
motion, Emily.
Thank you so much, Heidi. Do I hear a second? Malia, thank you. So I'll call the vote. All in favor, give me a thumbs up. You can do verbal aye, you can put it in the chat. And the motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Great. All right, so that's quick. So that brings us on to administrative matters, of which we have a lot tonight. So I'm going to dig in first, welcoming Katrina and Sarah. Thanks so much for joining the commission. Please let me know if I haven't sent you the bylaws or any other documents yet. I can't recall in this moment if I've kind of done a proper orientation. So reach out to me if I haven't. Next up is sort of our big discussion for the night, which is the slate of officers. I hope you all got a chance. And if you haven't, in the agenda is sort of the definitions for the officers. In parentheses, I sort of put the disclaimers, which is the responsibilities of hosting for the chair. We've decided that as long as that you have a coordinator for Live Well Kingston, that I can coordinate these meetings. The vice chair does everything if the chair is not available. I will mention that Troy Ellen, who has been the chair for the last year, has assisted me with the open meetings law letter. She's come to a few meetings and sort of acted as the chair in that way. That's been really helpful to kind of have the chair of the commission speaking on behalf of projects and things that we want in addition to city staff. So it's nice to have that use of a chair. Trylon, anything else that you think you've experienced in the last year that you think is pertinent to mention in that role?
I thought I did something else last year in addition to writing that open meetings law letter, but I could be making it up because I work in so many different spaces with you, Emily. So in any event, it's not a ceremonial position, but it is not a particularly onerous position either. I've been chair of other boards where it's a whole lot of work, but this is manageable.
A few times I've reached out to you, Troylyn, for feedback on things or just, so you've been very helpful that way. So I hope that the chair can remain to be that kind of support. We have a secretary position, and I've stated that as long as these meetings are remote, I don't mind going back and making sure that the notes are accurate from the recording. If we go back in person, I would ask that the secretary do help me take notes while I host the meeting. It's really hard to do both at the same time. Currently, the treasurer position, we don't, for example, if my department was ever eliminated from the city budget, we could have a treasurer on this commission have its own budget and ask the Common Council for funds. But as long as our funds go through my department, we haven't asked the treasurer to do any of that kind of work because it's going through my budget, and that can be a part of my department. Any questions about the roles of the officers? Anything there that's confusing or not clear? All right. Thank you, Susanna. Let's see what you're, okay, great. We'll add your name to the December minutes. Thank you. All right. So the way we usually go through this process is that we have a little bit of a discussion when we're trying to make a slate of officers, and then we usually do a motion to approve that slate. So it's just one voting process for all 4 positions.
It's
Uh,
1 year,
yeah.
right, Emily?
It's for 1 year, and we'll do this again in January. Yep. Any questions? If anyone would like to discuss the roles or offer to take one on, you can start there.
Mm.
Emily, I don't mind helping out. Be my
In
pleasure.
in a particular way, Heidi, did you have one of the positions in mind?
Well, obviously, if someone wanted to be the chair, that'd be great, but you know, I don't mind taking that on.
Troy Ellen, you're putting your hand up. Does that mean you want to be chair again?
Well, full disclosure, Emily asked me if I would be open to serving as a chair for another year. And I said yes, unless there was somebody who was eager to assume the position.
Can I ask why those positions are only 1 year, but our commissioner positions are 2 years? Is there a reason for that?
It's part of our bylaws. I think it was just to have flexibility. You know, I could see someone might not want to be chair for 2 years. You know, maybe it gives ability to kind of move around a little bit, but still remain on the board or commission. We're not a board.
Well, I think Troy Ellen is a fine chair.
I see thumbs up from Heidi or from Susanna.
I think you'd be fine
from
too,
Malia.
Heidi, but we probably need you for another position.
That's okay.
All right. Heidi, can I put you then in maybe for vice
Sure.
chair, unless anybody else wants to be vice chair? Secretary, anybody willing that if we go back to being in person, might help me with notes? Anyone willing to do that?
I'll do it.
Thank you, Susanna. All right. And finally, treasurer, anyone willing to put their name in this slot?
Well, wait, what is, just remind me what treasurer does? I don't remember this position at all last year being.
Yeah, that's because
Yeah,
there's.
they do nothing. It is a ceremonial position.
Oh, man, maybe I
because
should
the
take that
budget
one.
is managed. The budget is managed through the Health and Wellness Department.
But it's in our bylaws, so I have to ask.
Okay.
So who wants to put their name in our notes as treasurer?
I'm comfortable with budgets and numbers, so I would do it, but if there's no work, I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Then does anyone else want to be secretary? Then I'll move Susanna to treasurer.
But there could be work for the secretary if we go back in person.
Sure. Sarah, which one are you preferring?
I'm preferring secretary.
Oh.
My only issue is if we go back in person, you know, since the meeting's at 4 and I work in New Paltz, that might be an issue. So, but I think I can make it work. So as long as I know ahead of time, these meetings don't really change, right? At the same time every month?
That's the next question,
Okay.
but I haven't heard from anyone that they like to change it, but we'll discuss that more thoroughly in a moment.
Okay.
Sarah, let's put you in there. If things change, we can always, I think we can readdress it or come up with another solution.
Maybe I could help out since I won't be doing anything.
We'll flip flop those positions. How's that?
Love it. All right, so officially we have a slate of officers of Troy Ellen as chair, Heidi as vice chair, Sarah as secretary, and Susanna as treasurer. I could hear a motion to accept the slate of officers for the Live Well Kingston Commission at this time.
I'll make a motion to pass.
Thank you,
I'll second it.
Siobhan. Thank you, Malia. Any abstentions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. So all in favor, give me a thumbs up, verbally say aye. I see thumbs up from everybody. All right, motion passes. All right, thank you, everyone. I know that's always a little bit difficult, but we got through it just fine. All right, meeting dates. So officially in the January meeting, we just confirmed the meeting dates. We are scheduled to meet the third Wednesday from 4 to 5:30, unless you'd like to reopen that discussion and set another. We should set a series, set the time so that's consistent for the rest of the year. I think that might even be in our bylaws. Would anyone like to discuss our meeting time? Or maybe it's a good way to try to get consent. You know, if this time is working for everyone, can you give me a thumbs up? Or even if it's not perfect, you can do something like this, but like willing to make it work. I see this from a Siobhan. I see a thumbs up from most people. Troyan, a thumbs up. Barbara, a thumbs up. Great. Okay. All right. Thank you.
If
Sorry.
this
Yeah.
meeting, if this meeting day and time were to change, it would play merry hell with my schedule. So not that it's just all about me, but I'm hoping that we can keep the same time frame.
Yeah, a doodle poll for all of the schedules for the people on this call terrifies me a little bit. So sorry, Siobhan, I know that might not be perfect for you. I hope that you can still try to make it work when you can. And we love having you when you're here, and we understand you have other responsibilities. Okay, so I think we'll move on from that. I'm gonna put it in the chat again. Or I'm going to put in the chat now. This is a link to a Google document where I did the same thing for last year, and I will list kind of our, our list of presentations, and I usually put a link to all the notes. So this document is sort of a master document. So if you ever are sort of feeling disconnected from LiveWell, you go back to this document, you'll be able to see the links to all the previous meeting notes. It's sort of my cheat sheet for that. All right. So
Could you share access with that? For me, please?
yes. My apologies.
And Emily, I have a question.
Yeah.
Now that we've gone to webinar. The recurring meeting that was sent had the time as 4 to 6 p.m. But I got a Wednesday, which put it on from 4 to 5:30, but I only got it for this Wednesday. And I would like to know, did the other commissioners receive the 4 to 5:30 as a recurring calendar event?
I actually have 2 on my schedule.
But look at next week, next week.
For February, I have 2, and for March, I have 2.
I have one in February, 4 to 6.
Yeah, I have one from 4 to 6 and one from 4 to 5:30.
Okay, maybe I'll delete all of them and send you fresh ones. And if there's, why don't I delete them all and then I'll send an email. So sometimes
I think
find
you
that
only, Emily,
Yeah.
I think you only need to delete the 4 to 6 because we all seem to have the 4 to 5:30. No. Oh, sorry, Malia.
So I don't see the 4 to 6 one. That's,
I might have, I think I might have created that before I got the invite. So sorry about that. If I'm the only one that has that, I just deleted it.
No, I have it. I have it also. I have 4 to 6 recurring and 4 to 5:30. So I have 2 Live Well Kingston meetings on my calendar. And Sarah says they only have 4 to 5:30. So yeah, I guess, sorry, I interrupted you, Emily. I guess deleting them all and then starting again would be a useful exercise. So we're all on it.
and I'm thinking what I'll do is after I delete them all, I'll send you an email, because sometimes I've had people delete things and they're sort of ghost invites still on my calendar. So maybe I'll give it a day or something so you can all go through and just accept that deletion and get it off your calendar. And then like a day later, I'll send you a new set. Unless anyone, of course, have an idea for me to do it another way, please let me know. Technology. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right. Any other thoughts on that? Otherwise, we'll move on to bringing in Marcia into this group. All right, no one's speaking up. We want to welcome Marcia, who has submitted an application to become a commissioner for Live Well Kingston. Marcia, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Usually what happens is the commission asks you to come, introduce yourself, which you did a little bit in the beginning. You can add anything to it that you'd like. It's really just a way for the commission to get to know you. And then the process is the commission submits a recommendation to the mayor. The mayor decides ultimately who will be a commissioner. He's never not accepted one of our recommendations. And then once accepted, the mayor secretary will send you a letter welcoming you to the commission. So Marcia, is there anything you'd like to add to introducing yourself to the group tonight?
Sure. So I just wanted to share a little bit more about myself. A few folks on the call I have met before in my work at Gateway, which is now Gateway Hudson Valley, where I was the director for their employment services. And I did that for 11 years. And for the past a little over a year, I've been doing nutrition education. So I facilitate a series of nutrition programs, both in person and online, to low-income families with children in the household. I also have a nutrition program for in-school youth. I do have I've been doing programs in health and wellness since Gateway for the past 4 years. What else do I want you to know? I love working with people who want to make a change in their life, who want to govern themselves. I hope to bring to the commission to help to make a contribution in any way that I can. In my role as a like director, I managed programs, and in my other roles, I've just kind of been on the front lines with youth, women, people with disabilities. What else can I say? I am a resident of Kingston. I've lived here for the past 12 years, 7 of those. I am a first-time home buyer, and I really love that. I love to travel. I practice Qigong. I love health and wellness. I want to, I'm excited for this opportunity to work with all of you and, to make a contribution to K-Town. The Hudson Valley is beautiful. I feel very lucky to live here. I'm originally from Trinidad. I grew up in Brooklyn, but the Hudson Valley is my home. Every season is spectacular. It never, ever gets boring. It's just such a beautiful place to live. So I love the outdoors. After this meeting, because I know I won't be on for the whole call, I'm going to go for a walk because the days are getting a little bit longer. So, and also if anyone had any questions that they wanted to ask of me. Okay, thank you.
Anyone, any follow-up questions? All right. So we'll have a few more things on the agenda tonight. Yeah, and then Marcia will go into executive session and the commission will make some decisions. Unless no one's waving their hand, let's move on to a stretch break, which I want to affectionately call Stacy's stretch break. It was her last request as an exiting commissioner was to keep the stretch break on the agenda. So I'm going to try to lead it. My earbuds always fall out, but I'm going to try to do, this is what I like to do for a stretch break. So I'm going to stand up. I invite you all to stand up with me. I'm at my tiny desk. You can turn off your videos if you'd like. I'll keep mine on. I don't mind. And I'm going to bring my arms up, take a deep breath. I like moving over to the right-hand side, moving over to the left-hand side, but you can do whatever feels good for your body. Do what feels right. I'm gonna bend over, and here's when I'm gonna drop my earbuds and stretch out this way. And then I'm gonna back up. And I'm gonna do, we have a cat in our house, and so I'm gonna do a cat paw flick, and I'm gonna flick my ankles and my feet. And I'm gonna do a little scoochy scooch. I know, I'm just making it up as I go. And I'm gonna take another big deep breath up. And bring it back down. And then I welcome you all to come back when you feel a little settled. A little back, that felt good. And that's gonna bring us back to our meeting. Thank you all for participating in that. I know sometimes it's a little goofy. I also, I'll bring it up later, but in the bike ped master plan, I was like, should I do a stretch break? And we didn't have time for it, but I want to try to incorporate it into more of our meetings. And I do want to affectionately call it Stacy's stretch break. All right, so coming back, next up is old business. It's old and new. So first up on here is the 2021 action plan. I put that here, but I haven't had a chance to work on the action plan for 2022 or update the 2021. So I thought that we would introduce the concept tonight. I'll try to work on it, or try to get some of us to work on it in the next month, and then dive more deeply next month. So at this time, I'm just trying to call your attention to the document. I'll put it in the chat. It's the action plan for 2021. And like I said, I think there's things in there that we have not captured and recorded onto it. It's not updated. So I think our goal for next month will be to try to update this one, and then possibly review a draft 2022 action plan. Welcome, Lori. Lori has joined us.
Hi, sorry, I forgot.
It's all good. Lori, do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself?
I'm Lori Ferguson, Commissioner for Live Well Kingston, and I volunteer at People's Place in the cafe and the pantry. I am a nurse and a nutritionist. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lori. So any questions about the action plan? I wasn't going to go through it tonight. Next month, I'll probably kind of go through it a little bit line by line and review it. So again, just calling your attention to it to try to get a chance to review it before next month. All right, and let's see any hands up. I have the next bullet point is just a congratulations to us. So the open meetings law that Troy Ellen and I brought to the Laws and Rules Committee of the Common Council. The Common was passed there. It went to the Common Council and they unanimously approved it. Yes, I want to applaud too. Let's take this win. Thank you, Troy Ellen, for drafting your letters and all the support around that work. It was a really great experience. So this is kind of, I think, our first, I don't know if it's policy, but it's a memorializing resolution. This is the first kind of draft, first legislation that the Live Well Kingston has brought to the Common Council and has gotten passed. Yeah, thank you, Barbara. I'll take that.
And I have a question regarding next steps of getting it to Senator Hinchey and Assembly Member Cahill.
Yeah, I think that anytime now I can send it. So the commission, for anybody who's new, also drafted a draft letter to our state representatives. So the commission has its own letter, and now the Common Council has done the memorializing resolution, which I believe the city clerk has already sent to Hinchey and Cahill. So now I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. So Troy, I'll try to do that, and I'll CC you, and we can document that.
Let's just take one more look at it.
Okay.
Just for proofreading, not to change any of the language, but when I haven't looked at something for a long while, I always have this, because it has happened, this nagging feeling that there's a typo, which I then find after I've sent it.
Yeah, we'll proof the legislators' names, that kind of detail. So I always want to double check. All right, thank you for that, Troy. All right, any questions about that? Next up is announcements and communications. I have just a couple. Last night was our pedestrian and bicycle master plan public meeting. The recordings, I believe in Spanish and English, are already up on the Kingston's YouTube. Please go check it out. I think the highlight of the meeting was our consultants had interactive polling, and they were able to, one of the questions was like, give me a word that describes your experience walking in the city of Kingston. And then there was an interactive word cloud that started to shift and move as people participated. It was really quite wonderful. Important to say that one of the goals of that public meeting was to solicit feedback from the community. We are still actively asking for feedback. On the city's webpage, engagekingston.com, there is a survey and a crowdsourcing app. The survey asks kind of very specific, casual questions. Do you walk and bike in Kingston? If not, why? The crowdsourcing app is a more interactive collector of information. You can, it's a link to a website, so it's not an app per se, but you can use it on your phone. So if you open up that link on your phone, you can take a picture and enter that information. It's asking for destinations. It's asking for examples of walking and biking around the city of Kingston that you think need improvement, or you could always add things that are working, but for the most part, that improvements that you'd like to see. And it also talks about connections to public transportation. So there's kind of 4 main categories of input that we're looking for in that crowdsourcing app. That link is on engagekingston.com, which I'll put in the chat in a minute. The survey, there are printed flyers at the Kingston Library in Spanish and English. I'm also happy to deliver printed flyers to anyone who would like to help distribute them. If you have a coffee shop, if you go to a laundromat, if you don't mind bringing one and tacking it up for me, that would be so helpful. I've already brought some to People's Place. I've already brought some to Salvation Army, Rough Draft, the Kingston Standard. They already have flyers, but pretty much any other business or community center or community place where people come together, I would love to put up a flyer. So please let me know if I can give you some. What else should I say about that? There's a lot more coming in the project to come, but we're in the public input phase at this time, and I'll keep you updated as that project goes on. Any questions on that, or we'll move on to an exciting announcement that I've got.
I have a question.
I'll be done.
I have a question. So is this whole Engage Kingston, is this part of this consulting group that had some focus groups about how to spell the ARPA money? Is that completely different?
Yes and no. So Engage Kingston, here I'm putting in the chat, is it's like a civic participation, public input website that the city, it's a little confusing in that we have a city website, and then this is sort of an additional website to help us with public participation. Mm-hmm. On Engage Kingston is all of our projects, and it's a great way to participate. There's surveys, and it has a number of features that are more interactive than our website allows us to be. One of those projects that you're mentioning is the ARPA funds. And I believe there was a lot of output, there was a lot of asking for input about that, and Kingston Forward, which is the rezoning project, both of which are on Engage Kingston, so you can find out about both of those projects there.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay. So my other big announcement is that that there is officially a 3rd position open in my department for a Live Well Kingston project manager. In the link is the link to in the chat is the link to the job description. I think it's open until another week or 2, I think maybe 2 weeks that it's open. This is very appropriate for the Live Well Kingston Commission because this project manager will be working on a lot of the focus team projects that I'm just not able to get to these days. So we're very lucky to have received additional funding from Novo for another 3 years. This includes additional funding, not just for my position, but also for the 2nd project manager. In the 1st year, I have goals for them to do a lot of Grow Well support, some senior programming, to do some of the focus team facilitation. So Heidi was talking about play well. I'm really hoping that with more capacity, we'll have someone to help facilitate that meeting. I literally just like can't get the meeting invite together. I know Heidi's nodding her head. So having this additional capacity, I think will really further a lot of this work. Please share it. Ideally, it would be someone who's already connected with the Kingston community. But if not, if they just have the willingness to jump in and work closely with community members, that's okay. What else should I say about it? I'm really hopeful to get someone who's, I don't know, what does dynamic mean? I'm just excited to have a new person to work with.
This person gets to work with both of us and they can sit, I'm literally looking at their desk right now, by the way. So, you know, I feel like that is something really positive about this position.
All right, so please share it. I think if not, I will share the document with you all, maybe also by email, but please share it in your networks for me. Okay, that's all of my announcements and communications. We did our introduction at the top, but is there any other events, programs, projects that people would like to announce that we document at this time? Siobhan, you mentioned some stuff about the co-op. Is there anything in addition you want to draw our attention to?
Not at this time. Yeah, not at this time.
Yeah. It seemed like everyone during introductions did a pretty good job actually of doing their announcements. Oh, Malia, go right ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know why I've never brought this up before, but I'm actually very involved in veterans issues locally. I'm the chair of Congressman Delgado's Veterans Advisory Committee. And we're very fortunate in Kingston that we have the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration right in Kingston. And it's a really outstanding facility. They have a lot of really interesting health and wellness programs for veterans. And it just might be something that we could consider exploring, like whether we want to take on any kind of veterans issues or working with any of the local veterans organizations, because they have lots of issues with living well too. So I just throw that out there for our consideration as we think about our strategic plan for the next year.
Malia, New York State Senator Michelle Hinchy had a resource fair in Saugerties a month or so ago, and the Institute participated. We actually had several people participate, including 2 of our family medicine residents, one of whom is actually a veteran. And there were a lot of agencies there, and like New York State Employment, the Labor Department, and all kinds of places were there. And sadly, very few people showed up. And I was wondering
I've met with Senator Hinchy a number of times about these things. It's really hard to get veterans to come to some of these fairs.
And during the week, it was like 10 to 12, like 11 to 1 or so, 10 to 12. And I was thinking many younger veterans are working.
Yeah.
So that was really too bad. But it was really amazing to me to see the outpour of how many different agencies and groups at local and then state, agencies that were there. So
I'll just mention one other related thing that, in case you guys aren't aware, the other thing that is unusual about Kingston in terms of veterans is that we're the only, Ulster is the only county that has a home for homeless veterans in the entire congressional district of 11 counties. And homelessness is a big issue with veterans. It's much less visible in rural areas like where we live. But we do have that in Kingston. It's in the Rondout. It's a house that the city owns, but is operated by the VA. And I don't know, I mean, they're very, there are a lot of confidentiality issues, obviously. So I don't know who's there and how long they stay there and what kind of programs are going on, but there's just a lot of, there's a lot of opportunity to connect with a needy population here in Kingston.
I know the Y was asked to do one of those fairs in February, and the time was in the evening. So I think maybe Senator Hinchy listened to what she said, because it's later in the day so that more people could come. So I know that was her intent. So let's hopefully that will help. So I'd like to mention something else that the Y is going to endeavor on that, you know, I don't think we ever thought that maybe we would be involved in it, but we've been asked to help with an Afghan resettlement initiative. Apparently in Fort Dix in New Jersey, there's a population of Afghanis that need to be placed. And it's families, it's, you know, single men and single women. And so we've been approached to help out in certain ways, but it's certainly, it crosses over, you know, a community. I know the Bruderhof has already accepted 2 families into their community, but their situation is different and their means are different. But, you know, asking these groups, and it's a very detailed process they go through, because the Department of State doesn't want to put anybody in a community and not have them fit and belong and then have to be, you know, resettled someplace else. So the biggest, obviously we all know this, the biggest expenses that are incurred when doing a resettlement is housing and health. And so those are some, you know, some significant things that are going to be worked on, but that's something, you know, I'm especially committed to. There are females there who haven't had an easy life. Most of them are illiterate. Most of the men are illiterate as well, and do not speak English. So, but they see Ulster County as a place that would be good for raising a family, which I guess speaks well of our community. So don't be surprised.
Heidi, 2 families you said are coming?
2 families are already here, and they're residing. The Bruderhof is, that's where they're residing. But there's others, there's a other family that they're looking to place here if it works out. So that work is being done now.
Yeah, that's interesting, because just along those lines, the Children's Home of Kingston is working with the Federal Office of Refugees and Resettlement, and
Yes.
they're getting unaccompanied minor immigrants.
Yeah.
So they're, you know, mostly from the southern border, and they reached out to the Institute because they have requirements to have all the kids, they're all teenagers, you know, males and females. Within 48 hours, they have to have like a full medical workup and vaccines and all of this. So we've been working with them, and actually, I guess if we're kind of reporting out on stuff, this is something I'm going to ask you guys. We're doing in collaboration with Michelle Hinchy's office, because she came to visit our Kingston site in December and noticed that we had donation boxes of like coats and things in our pediatric area. That one of our case manager had actually got free coats from like Patagonia and some other places. So she offered to do a donation drive that's going to actually start tomorrow for 2 weeks with drop-offs at her office for very specific things that include like toiletries and so things in general for our population. We serve a lot of immigrants, but then specific things that our nurses are saying these immigrant teenagers need, like backpacks and notebooks and toiletries. So once I get the final flyer from Hinchy's office, I was going to send it to all of you.
Please share.
Send it to your network. So we'll get those important items into the hands of families and kids and teenagers that need them.
Suzanne, if you want
Barbara's got her. Heidi, finish up, and then Barbara's got her hand up.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Suzanne, if you want another collection point, let me know too, because
I did, but Hinchy's office, they wrote me back yesterday and said they just want to use it at her site. I think we're going to put one in our center anyway, and encourage staff to.
Fine.
Yeah, thank you though. Thank you.
Just in terms of the Afghan families, one of my constituents the other day told me that she is going to house a family just a few blocks here from me, and she was asking me if I had a coffee table and stuff like that. Anyhow, I said I'd be glad to take them to Restore and get one, but she said she's working with her pastor at the Fair Street Church, who I forget her name. So there may be different entry points in terms of how people are And so this woman here, a constituent of mine, so funny to say that, it's one of her Airbnb properties. So she's like letting it go to, you know, this other purpose. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another person reached out to me within the last couple of days, given the work we do with the Kingston Emergency Food Collaborative. They're looking hopefully to get individuals, single women that they could house here in Kingston. And if they also would be, you know, to continue their education here in Kingston. So I know there's a lot of activity going on around resettlement. And of course, BARD made the commitment early on to bring a lot of people in to it's Berlin, Massachusetts, and here
We have
in the
over
Hudson
50,
Valley.
yeah, we have over 50 Afghan refugee students who have arrived here at BARD in the past month. We've a lot of them arrived with nothing, and so we've given them everything they need. They speak beautiful English. These are the future leaders of Afghanistan. They were basically attending the equivalent of the Harvard of Afghanistan until, you know, the university had to pick up and leave. So these are really outstanding, impressive people. And so the Hudson Valley is going to be an epicenter of Afghan refugees. So we have 50 now. We've pledged to accept up to 100. That's between here in Dutchess County and our campuses in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, and Bard College, Berlin. So yeah, it's been, there's no other American institution that has taken so many Afghan students. Some have taken one or two, and like little tiny Bard College is taking 100. So it's been getting a lot of
Press. Yeah, it has been.
Right. Sorry if I missed this or if it was already said, but I don't know if New Start for Women would be maybe a potential resource to help some of the other students if like BARD is at capacity, or I don't know, it might be a resource that's like worth mentioning to them to connect them with something.
That makes me kind of to jump on that the New Start for Women, you know, I've heard about, you know, through a couple of community members, but it's occurring to me, I wonder if we should invite them to present to us this year. It might be nice to go a little deeper into that project.
Okay.
So as we have these discussions, if we identify any presentations or anything that we'd like to have, let's also try to make a note. I'll make a note of that, and we can try to bring that into the conversation more.
Is that's a SUNY Ulster program? Am I remembering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their ability, I mean, I don't know what their restrictions are since it's a state institution. They probably have to get all kinds of approvals. Like, and so I don't know what their ability to help Afghans is, but that would be in the hands of the state assembly.
Yeah, they don't have housing. You guys have are there in dorms at your facility? Yeah, so SUNY Ulster, not that I'm aware of, not that I recalled, I don't think they have dorms or anything. So that would be a bit of a challenge. But it is a means for them once they're situated to participate in a program like that. Great.
All right, so we're still in announcements and communications. Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Otherwise, we can sort of move on to executive session. That would be next up on our agenda. All right, I'm not seeing anybody waving me down or having more. Thank you for this, Malia. Thanks for bringing up the veterans. Thanks for bringing up the topic about the Afghan resettlements. That's very interesting. All right, so I want to call attention to the next meeting will be February 16th. And also, of course, another meeting reminder. And commissioners, we sort of have I try to send it out the Friday before. And if you can try to RSVP to me, then I sort of know if we will have a quorum or not. There was a time a couple of years ago we weren't getting enough quorum. And so we put that in place so that if we didn't have a quorum, then we might not meet. I find with this commission, we always have things to go over and discuss, even if we don't have official business to do, but that's the process that we have in place right now. That said, any questions about next meeting or any of our administrative matters, anything we've covered on the agenda? Otherwise, I could hear a motion to adjourn into executive session.
I so move that we adjourn into executive session.
Do
I'll
I
second
hear?
that motion. Oops,
Thank-
Lori, go ahead.
I second
Lori
it.
got it. Lori got it. All right. Thank you, Lori. Oh, losing my earbud. Okay. Thank you, Lori. So I'm going to call the motion. So all in favor, give me a thumbs up. Say aye. Motion
Aye.
passes. So we will say thank you very much to our guests, Barbara and Marcia. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to stop recording in a moment and we'll go into executive session. Everyone else, please stick with me and we'll have a good conversation. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.